I hadn't seen Carson play previous to that, but I talked to our scouts that had. I talked to Ed Ginger, who had him here in the AAA program, quite a bit, and wondering what type of player he was, because he didn't seem to be playing that way. Lack of energy, all that stuff. And Ed basically said, "That's not him. There's something there." So I said, "No, that's good. It's good to know, because that's things we can talk about and to get him going again." And obviously, later on when we found out why, we were really relieved. Not that something was wrong, but that there was something that was extremely easily fixable, and it just wasn't. He wasn't himself for half a year.
The easy route would have gone though to, dude, what's your deal?
Right.
I mean, and
yeah.
he says you guys didn't do that. Now he got that maybe from other places, but at least he got from an outside source some kind of encouragement.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Guys are going to have, nobody's career goes the way it wants to go. Nothing has a trajectory going the right way. There's always ups and downs, and it's how you deal with it. So I was there to help him along. Things are going to go. Maybe you get back to basics. Maybe you get back to being a pest on the ice, and just take a step back, and then obviously then you get some more. You start feeling better, and then you start playing better. So there's little things that you talk about as from experience, and that's what my job and Gregory Campbell and Yarko. A lot of what we do is talk about experiences. Oh, I've gone through the same thing. We've all gone through the minors. I have college. Gregory went through junior, and Yarko in Europe. So I think we got all the bases covered. But we all played in the minors too. So when we talk to the guys in Cleveland, that makes a big difference.
With Cole, it was a little different. He had that injury, obviously, in the prospects tournament. Then he kind of, that was affecting him a little bit, and then he goes back to junior. I was talking to him. He's like, it was kind of tough to rebound from that, just mentally, because he figured he started his pro career last year. And then you come to see him play, like the first game, and he's like, yeah, and I had this horrible game and whatever. He goes, you kind of got into my grill a little bit. Did you kind of identify at that point that he just kind of needed a little bit of a pep talk at that point?
Sometimes you do, and like I said, a lot of guys that you see it in the National Hockey League level where they don't make here, and then they go to the minors, and then it takes them a while to. His was just a level down, but when you're upset, but you need to get over it quickly because you play the next day. Right. You're evaluated the next day, whether it's in practice, in a game, or whatever. So you need to get over what you're feeling pretty quickly, and that's part of our job, is to help along those levels and try to pump them back up again and bring them to reality and say, hey, you know what, tomorrow's the new day. You want to get there. It starts now. It starts tomorrow. It starts when you hop back on the ice again. So we deal with it a lot in the American League, and guys obviously want to be here, but they're down there. So you got to get them back to 100% mentally as quick as you can, and it's a learning process.
Do you remember the game he's talking about?
Yeah. But I don't. When I see guys a few times, I don't evaluate them on that, because guys, like I said, have good games, bad games, whatever the course. But I know Cole, and I know that wasn't the way he should be playing, and I know him on a personal level now after a couple of years, so I know how he's supposed to play and he should play. And it's probably the first time I did give him some negative feedback like that. And, guys need it once in a while. It's not something I'm comfortable with overall, because I know guys are going to have those. But like I said, I know him personally, and you treat him as a part of the family at some points, and you got to give him tough love sometimes.
Were you glad to see that? I mean, he turned it around from that point to the end of the season pretty strong.
Yeah,
he had a really good season.
Yeah, he did, and you know what? He was an overage, but some guys need that, and some guys go from there years in the minors, and then they're in the NHL. It's all part of your development process. It's not, like I said, not what they want, and not what you see in your future, but it's the way it goes sometimes. And when they do make it, who cares how you made it? You made it.
Right. Do you think some of the back in the day, I mean, those overage kids kind of got tagged and maybe forgotten a little bit, but it seems like now.
Well, I think everybody's got a lot smarter evaluating, because you look at kids between 16 and 22 years old. Who knows? Like, they could grow another inch at 22. Who knows? Or they could, whatever happens, it's maturity, but it's also mental maturity. So that 5-6 year range, it could be, and it could be one completely different. And then you give up on a guy too soon, and all of a sudden something clicks the next year or the year after that, and it's tough to give up on guys. That's why Maxime Fortier as well. He's going to be a very good player, We were lucky to get him early in the season. He went through the draft and became an overager, but
Right.
that's something that our scouts really liked about him. But hey, if it takes him an extra 6 months,
Okay.
what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? So it's, you don't look quite, you don't always want to look at birth years. You get them lumped together because they're all in the same birth year and you against each other. But it's something that I think a lot of scouts are looking deeper into it.
Yeah,
And how
especially when you
about-
get guys later in the draft. I mean, that's great value if you could get any of those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Of Europeans or college guys that can sit a little bit longer and play and develop a lot longer because they're not 2 years. You need to decide it like a junior player.
How valuable is it having a guy with Cole's experience here at development camp? I mean, he's been through this, 3 previous
Yes.
times? And he's definitely someone that the others can go to as a resource. How
Yeah.
valuable is it?
Oh, it's huge. We always have those guys, and when I'm putting together, I'm leaning on guys like that to show the guys what to do. You know, how to act, how to present themselves. And you look at him, and guys are like, okay, this guy works out. This guy knows what he's doing. You just looking at him, so guys are going to follow that just by not even talking to him, just by following his example. So I'll actually lean on him a little bit more to, hey, make sure the guys are on the bus at this time. You know what's going on. Let's be a leader, and you're the leader of the camp.
It sounds like your itinerary for this year is only slightly different, than just minor tweaks from last year.
Yeah, few. The nutrition class, Nelson did it last year, but I think it's valuable. We got some ladies from EAS, which I think, really good background on nutrition and stuff like that. Just the outside thing, I haven't changed too much on the ice, but on the ice it looks a little different. We had Manny running one side. I want a little goalie wrinkle in so he can work with the goalies a little bit more, but the players are actually getting stuff out of it. And we always want Lee on the ice. He's such he can break down these guys' strides and give them something to go home with that way. And it's good to have our Cleveland coaches on the ice as well, so they know what's coming down the pipeline. So, but little things afterwards, the Bo Jackson, the team building thing, I think will be fun. And you always look for some fun things because they're long days, and we try to break them up. And sometimes the guys don't realize how long they are because they're having fun.
Is the Bo Jackson team building thing also known as Ninja Warrior course?
It's pretty similar, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
pretty
'cause
similar.
the guys were
Yep.
referring to it as
Yep.
our Ninja Warrior.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
it's
pretty excited.
Yeah, it'll be a competition, and the guys will be there's rock climbing. I think the biggest and the most fun thing at the end will be it's 4 stories up, and it's called a leap of faith, and it looks like a big punching bag, but you jump off and catch it, but you're 40 feet off the ground. You're all
What's
obviously
underneath there?
us. So you're tied in. You're
you're
harnessed
tied
in
in.
Oh.
and everything, but it's still to jump off something, and it could be up to 10 feet away. So
Right, okay.
these guys could get a running jump if they're really courageous. But we'll see. I'm not doing it, so
You don't think they'll talk you into it?
no, not a chance.
No leap of faith. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Max and what you guys are looking for from him.
Fortier?
Yeah, down the road, immediate, not
Yep.
immediately, but soon down the road.
Yeah, no, I think I've watched him 5 or 6 times last year. Gregory Campbell did the same, and we had our Eastern Quebec scout and saw him a bunch of times because Halifax had some other draft picks. So we get a good idea what type of player he is. He's fast, he's quick, he sees the ice well, he's got a great shot. He had some injuries this year that he still battled through. A lot of his days off were days off. They kept him off the ice some of the practice days, second half of the season, but he battled through every little thing he had. Just bumps and bruises, some a little more serious, but nothing that kept him away from the game. So I think I think he'll have an immediate impact. He'll fight and produce in training camp. If he ends up in Cleveland, I think he's going to be a huge addition to that team as well.
Yeah, he was saying, he'd love to be out there on the ice, but I mean,
Yeah.
the more important
This-
thing is just get through the summer right and
Yeah.
come in here.
Yeah, it was a
ready to go.
no-brainer when they said, well, he could skate. I was like, there's no reason. No one's going to make the team in this week. No one's looking to evaluate a guy in the middle of the summer. So this is something. But him being here and participating with the other guys and doing all the other activities is just as valuable.
Seems like a pretty smart player. Is that?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, is
he's-
that the one
yes.
that kind of reports? on
Smart, but he's tenacious too. He can skate. He can get in battle. Even for his size, he gets in the corners and pesky type player at times.
Trait that I keep hearing about him, I've written about him earlier this year, was character.
Yep.
Is that?
Yeah,
consistent
that's what I
on
mean.
these?
When he's
Yeah.
going and he's 100%, he's the guy you see on the ice all the time because he's doing everything. He's offensive. He'll back check. He does all those things, and that's the character on the ice that it could be a leader right away for
He was
other
their
young
captain
guys.
this year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's their captain.
At least assistant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta look at.
He definitely had a letter on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Chris, we talked about the value of having a Cole Sherwood here. What about the guy at sort of the opposite end of the experience spectrum in a Sean Romeo?
Yeah.
What's the value in having a guy like him here this week?
I think it's huge for us to get to know him, because we know what he's like because we've seen him play. Our scouts have seen him play, but a lot of our camp is not on ice evaluation. It's get to know the guys as it's character. Get to know the guys off the ice and what are they like, and are they leaders? Are they not? You don't need a team full of leaders. You need a team full of team players. So some guys are leaders, some guys are followers, and that's fine. You need both. So with him, we've just met him, but with other guys as well, you get to know them on a personal level and get to talk to them. So sometime down the road, if that's something, we know his background, and but then again, he gets to see what we're about as well, because he's a free agent. It'll come time to when he wants to sign, and I hope that down the road, if we're looking at him and we can be one of his options too. So he's getting to know us as well as us getting to know him.
I mentioned there's an energy level that a guy like that would bring too, since he plays hockey here in Columbus, loves the Blue Jackets, is here for the first time. Like, I imagine there's an energy to that.
Yeah,
It's
he's
sort of the opposite end of what Cole brings.
Yeah, exactly. Cole's been here a little while. He's not starstruck, but he's seen everything. He trains here in the summer. He does all that stuff. So, he's been to the arena, but he's never been to the down below in the locker room and getting to meet all some of the regular Blue Jackets will be in and out all week as well. So we get to meet some of those guys. So I think it's an unbelievable experience for him, and I'm sure he's going to take a lot out of it.
So we're in the era of the undersized forward can play in the NHL.
Yep.
Right? we got guys here, 5, 6, 7 of them who are 5'8", whatever. Sean Doogie kind of takes that to the max. He's like 5'3". Is he a guy that when you look at him, you're like, and he's coming into development camp, you're like, let's see what this guy's all about?
Yeah, I've seen him quite a bit the last couple of years, especially with the U.S. program and all that. So he's skilled. He's got some great skill, and his size didn't slow him down in college. It didn't slow him down in the World Juniors, stuff like that. So, you know what? If he continues and continues in that path, then you know what? He could be a guy that teams are out there looking to sign.
It's still something that you've got to overcome. I mean, just the
yeah.
stigma of it and whatever it is. But
Johnny Gaudreau, there's guys,
Sure.
obviously not like a couple inches on them, but you know what? They're making a name for themselves. If you're quick enough and good enough, then why not? You can't hook, you can't hold, and if you're quick, that's all that matters.
That's the biggest thing that's changed, right? The hooking, the holding.
100%, because you can go in the corners and get out of the corners. They start putting a stick on you, it's penalties. So they can spin off and quick and get in and out. Then
no red line.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Speed. Yeah.
You said you go back to your own experiences when you're dealing with young players. What experience of yours did you go back to relate to Carson when he was going to Teddy?
Teddy. Just little things. It's, I never had an illness and mono or stuff like that. Nothing that's kept me out more than the flu. But to relate to that, he didn't know what was going on, so he just thought he was having a bad stretch. And I said, and the little things, you just go back to, I was lucky I wasn't a goal scorer, where if I didn't score, I still had other things. I was lucky that I wasn't a goal scorer, but those goal scorers have to score. And if you don't, what are you? But then you got the two-way guys that can score sometimes and, chip in other ways,
so that
be
was
physical.
Your advice to him was to become more of a...
No, not to become, just to step back. Because when I talked to Ed and I talked to our other scouts, it was something I was like, what was he? He's like, he's always on the puck. He's moving his feet. He's pesky. I was like, I'm not seeing that.
Right.
But that's good. I was like, so that's what we talked about. I was like, just get back to that. You start doing that stuff, that's going to open up more room. That'll open more room for you'll get the puck, maybe open up room for your other teammates or your line mates and all that stuff. So you're going to help out in another way. If you're not scoring, fine. You'll help out another way, and then all of a sudden that goals will start coming. And you'll see it, and you can't start looking for goals. You got to look for the smaller things, and then that's going to build up and add to the point production. So it was little things like that we talked about.
But then he was still having trouble doing that even because of
and his completely, like his shifts were shorter, or they were just going, you'd see him start and then go downhill. No energy and stuff like that. So you weren't hoping something was wrong, but you knew something was, because I knew it wasn't from everybody, even his coaches in Miami, talking to them, like there's something something we're missing, something's going on. So, but you also there's a sophomore slump in there. I've seen it. I went through it when I was in school, and that was another thing we talked about. It happens. You have a good first year, and you're like, hey, I'm a pretty good player. You go back the next year, and things start working out, and you start pressing and stuff like that. So that's another thing we talked about, and how to get out of that. And guys go through it, and then the next year, all of a sudden, they're back to where they were.
How involved are you allowed to be on the medical side of things? Not at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but junior guys, we can help out with them coming in if they need a second opinion or things like that. We can bring them in. But college guys are basically on their own because of the NCAA rules and
Right,
everything. So.
right. I figured as much.
Yeah.